I live here with my life. I stay strong, I stay wise. I live here with my life. I stay strong, I stay wise. I live here with my life. While we wait.
Hey, I am R. Patrice Bryant, and I am the host of While We Wait. We are so glad that you're here today. Welcome, YouTube, welcome, Facebook, and welcome to my podcast listeners. Today is a great day to be alive, and I'm so glad that you're here with us on today. We've got another exciting segment, as always, on While We Wait, where we're going to be talking about time management, and we have an amazing guest. I can't wait to get her out here. Welcome. So glad to see you. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. So we're going to be talking about time management. But right before we get to that part, and I bring my co-host out. I've got the co-host who's the mostest. She's the greatest. We're going to talk about just briefly with everything that's going on, and I shared on last week Renner.org, and I was just encouraging people to get involved and share with all of the people who have had to leave their homes. And I'm certain there are a lot of different people who are doing things, but one of the trusted ministries that you can get involved with is Renner.org. And I'll put it up before we go off today. I actually donated $60, which I believe paid for 200 meals, and you can also do as a minimum of even $3. I just wanted to do something. It's not a political thing for me. I'm not on anybody's side, but what I did see on the news were those mothers who had babies who had to leave their husbands and their homes, some of them with just the clothes on their backs. So I just wanted to help in some shape, form, or fashion. So I hope that you will also take part and show compassion. The word of God says that when we lend to the poor, we lend to the Lord. So it's just a small thing that we can do in these unprecedented times. So I will post that information. And I just wanted to say something about time before we get our guest out here. One of the things with time, and I don't know about you, but I think I'm more busy now during the pandemic than even before. But just a couple of things. The two most powerful warriors are patience and time. Another time, and time is money. Time waits for no one. We know that. Lost time is never found. And the fifth one is time is the most valuable thing a person can spend. So, how can we get it all done? Before we bring our special guest out, let me pull out my co host, Michelle. How are you today?
Hey, I am so excited to be here. And I was doing the phone Facebook thing to make sure that I was correct, but I think Cynthia Slaughter came
Yes.
on starting to watch the show when the intro was on, which means that she timed it perfectly and she was on time. And I would like to bless Miss Cynthia with a
Woo-hoo.
copy of my book signed by the author, The Government Due,
Nice.
which is right there. So, Cynthia, if you would direct message either myself or Patrice and I've never called you that, Patrice, Miss Bryant.
Isn't that interesting? You don't even call me, you put Miss on it this time.
I sure did. If you would just direct message one of us, so that I can get that in the mail to you tomorrow, I would love to send you a signed copy of my book because you were on time and you are a supporter of this platform every
Yes,
week.
she is.
And so I just want to bless you with that. So if you would do
Oh,
that.
wow.
Now, if you don't want the book, that's okay. But I'm telling you, it will bless your soul. So I would love to send you a free copy signed by the author for being on
Oh,
time, for being a
wow.
supporter, and just so glad that you're here and watching every week.
How great is that, Cynthia? And thank you. Thank you for being a one. You're a great supporter. You've also been a guest, but you've been a great support from the beginning. So thank you. And what a wonderful thing. And the book is, you want the book. I promise you. You want the book. You want it. You want it.
I gotta say, it wasn't #1 bestseller, so people would agree. And it's actually back up number 15 for the paperback, and in the 20s, I think, in the ranking now for the Kindle. So it's actually climbing back up the ranks. But anyway, I'm just so excited to be here today, and I'm so excited for our guest today because we're going to talk about something that I struggle with, and so I'm really looking forward to getting some strategies and tips and tools and getting a new perspective because time management is a key factor in success. And so, listeners, I'm telling you, get a pen and paper because I'm sure there's going to be some very good information and wisdom bombs dropped today. I'm just so excited to be here. Always have your notebook ready. I every single week. I love it. I love it.
You know it. So we've got Mrs. Courtney Wolf, and I'm so excited. I saw her in a group that I'm a part of, and I was like, oh my God, I need that for my life. So I want to share her. So Courtney worked for a Fortune 500 company, and while working as a COO and building a digital wellness brand for moms, she took a leap of faith and launched her own coaching business for moms. And she assists with turning your big dreams into consistent income. Now, in the podcast group, I saw all of the things that she did. So she's a wife, she's a mom, she has 4 children, ages 5, 4, and a set of twins. So her hands are busy and she's still doing it. So to me, she's a pro. I'm not a mom anymore. Well, yeah, I'm always a mom, but I have adult children and grandchildren now, and I'm a caregiver for my mom. So I get it. Now it's interesting with little feet, there's a lot more running. So God bless the moms with the little ones. Hi, Sandra. Thank you so much for being here. Let's get Courtney out here. Hello, Courtney. How are you?
Hello. Hi. I'm so glad to be here.
Thank you. We're glad to have you here. And listen, everyone needs some assistance with this whole time thing because we're all working to get everything done. And it can be done, but with the proper tools. So that's what you're going to help us with.
Well, Emily just lost an hour too. So I'm just saying, for me, losing that hour impacts me every 6 months or every year when we have to spring forward.
So now they're talking about taking it away. Is that what I heard on the news?
Yeah.
I did hear that, yeah.
Interesting. Very interesting. Huh. So, well, Courtney, I'm really glad you're here. Tell us a little bit about yourself that I have not told about you. Just tell us some things about you, and we'll get into it.
Yeah. So you really covered the main points, right? I'm a mom. I have 4 kids. While I have had kids, right, in the past, let's see, we had 4 kids in 3 years. So during that time, I've been working. I've been a stay-at-home working mom, building brands for others and for myself. And in such, it led me to actually become a certified time management coach as well, because I struggled with it, right? I was 2 kids in. My oldest 2 are 18 months apart. And it hit me like a bag of rocks, right? I remember just sitting there feeling like, oh my gosh, I'm drowning. Like I felt like I was kind of drowning, and then I had another baby, and it was a lot. And so in such, I knew that the only way I was going to survive is if I got control of my time. I felt like I was a victim to my day, to my motherhood, to my lack of time the entire time. And so I decided I've got to get this under control. And I did just that. And then in such went on to have twins.
Nice.
A year later.
I'm just like, I'm still in shock with you said 4 kids in 3 years.
Yes. So we have.
God bless you, Courtney. I mean, my goodness.
What a blessing. What a blessing.
I don't know that I would recommend it that way, but we are very blessed. We are very grateful. No one ever thinks they're going to get twins. At least I didn't ever think I would have twins. And then they're like, it's twins. And it was like, no, it's not twins. They're like, no, it is. I was like, are you sure? Can we double check?
Right.
What did we miss? But now I'm so grateful and so thankful. And I'm glad I had these tools before we had our twins, because honestly, bringing in twins was the easiest transition for me. I know a lot of people think twins too. How'd you do it? Wasn't that super hard? I'm like, no, my life was harder with 1 kid than it has been with 4. And it was,
Wow.
again, because of my time. I didn't have a good grasp on it.
You know, I'm
Wow.
wondering, how did you make that shift? Because you mentioned feeling like a victim of your day and your time. And then obviously you've shifted to superwoman and being empowered and victor over your time. How did you make that mental shift? Because that's really where it
Yeah.
starts in your mind.
Yes, for sure. And so I like to even think of it as time scarcity or time abundance. You get to choose which one you have, right? We all have the same amount of time. Time is the most finite resource, right? It's one of the only things in this life that you get what you get. That's it, right? And so knowing that, I knew I had to see my time as abundant, that I have the time I need, period, right? Because ideally what you're doing is, when you are telling yourself, I don't have time for this, I don't have time for that, when that narrative is constantly playing in your head, you're sending yourself into fight or flight. You're actually activating stress in your brain, and it makes you feel more out of control, right? So I already have these little kids running around ruling my day, but then I'm also feeling like I don't even have time as my own. And it's like I'm grappling for something that I have zero control over getting back or creating more of. So what I actually need to do is to flip the script, believe I have all the time I need, right? I have the time I have. I get to utilize. What does that look like, right? What do I want to do in that time? And then I just move forward. And really, I think one of the key pieces here is just radical responsibility of saying, I am responsible for how I spend my time. I am the owner of what I do with my time. Of course, with little kids to an extent, but for the most part, I get to decide. So when I'm spending every day on repeat, waking up to a crying baby, rushing around, not even being able to shower, feeling like I'm already starting the day 10 feet behind, right? Because my day was just go, 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 this, that, need, me, everything, right? But what I realized is when I actually said, okay, I'm going to set the intention. I'm going to get clear on what my day, and I'm going to have ownership and responsibility over what I want my day to look like versus falling victim and just allowing and reacting to everything that was happening during my day. That's what really flipped it for me.
I love what you said, and I want to make sure we heard this. Radical responsibility. And it's interesting that responsibility is a radical concept nowadays. I'm just saying, that's a whole nother podcast. But also it speaks to the discipline of taking ownership, because when you have radical responsibility and you're taking ownership like you're talking about, it requires discipline. So like, did you get a planner out? Did you, do it mentally? Like, what tools did you use?
Yeah, so I am for sure like pen and paper type of girl, right? And so what it really started was me even looking, I'm very type A. So I would say even with when I had my first child, we fell into a schedule, a routine. I knew somewhat what my day would look like, but it was still, I was always just reacting to every piece of my day. So I actually got super clear on what does my ideal day look like? How do I spend my time, right? I remember feeling even recently like so frustrated with having to spend my time cooking dinner versus being able to go outside and play with my kids while they were outside during that time. And so I sat down, I got super clear. I said, how do I want to spend this time in my day, right? Like the time's there. What do I want it to look like? And then I was able to actually create different options instead of having to slave in the kitchen for hours. What are other ways I can feed my family to regain control over that time, right? Because we have options. We can actually create what we want our ideal day to look like, what would fill us up, what would bring enjoyment and fulfillment, and then how do we practically make that happen? What do we need to change, to switch, to let go of, to actually bring that to fruition?
That's so good. We have options, and I'm going to pause right there with even the food part, because there's no way I can, at this point, cook every day and like 3 meals a day.
Yes.
At this stage of my life, So I have to say, you can go to the grocery store now, and there's so many pre-cooked or pre-prepped meals that don't take a lot of time. So that that's helped my whole life right there.
Yeah. Yeah. And so that it was very powerful. It was when I was working with one of my own coaches, and I remember saying, like, I'm so frustrated. And she's like, well, Courtney, what can you do instead? And I was like, nothing. My family has to eat. There's nothing I can do instead. And it was such this fixed mindset that, like, I have to spend my time doing this because that's what society tells me. That's what I've always done.
Yeah.
Like, all the narratives. And then she's like, no, Courtney, think about it. What could you do instead? And I started thinking, and I had this whole list, right, of I could buy, we buy the big Costco ready-made meals that I just pop in the oven, and there's like chicken pot pie for a family of 6, done and done, right? We could buy more of those. I could batch cook on the weekend and make 2 casseroles instead of 1 and save them for later. I could split which nights I cook with my husband. We could do the real chef or the home kits that come, right? We can go out to eat if we want to go out to eat. We can hire a chef if we want to hire a chef, and we have the meat. Like, there's all these options, but I was so stuck on, I have to do it this one way, and I'm annoyed about it, and I'm a victim to feeding my family versus spending my time the way I wanted to.
This is so good. So you can be Superwoman but not have that same pressure. It doesn't have to be done in any type of a traditional way, and you can still enjoy the meal. So that's wonderful. I found that out. I'm like, listen, I just can't.
Yeah. And I think that's a piece of, like, just regaining your time, right? So I would do that for my entire day of, where are there pieces of my day that I'm spending frustrated, that I'm stuck thinking I don't have enough time, I wish I could do this, right? We hear all the time, people are like, oh, I wish I had time to read more books, right? And so then I'm like, okay, well, tell me what your day looks like. And when it actually comes to I'm spending an hour on Instagram a day, I'm watching 3 hours of Netflix at night.
Come on.
It's not about our time as much as it is you aligning how you're spending your time with what matters most to you. That is, like, where the true transformation happens.
I love that. That's value-based living and really telling the truth about what you're actually doing versus what you want to be doing. I love that. I love that. So, I think about that empowerment of implementing our superpower of choice and that mind shift that you made, about, well, there are options. I don't have to control everything, and I can also accept help as well. And then reframing what your day can look like. And one thing that you mentioned was vision, right? And really getting a clear picture about what you want your day to look like, because that also is really helpful. I think is really, the Bible says, write the vision. Understanding what you want the outcome to be, and then backtracking it back to how you're going to get there. That's one thing that always works for me, for goal setting, at least. What is the outcome I want, and then how am I going to get there? And then you got to implement the discipline.
Start with the end in mind.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then you have to commit to doing the work, right? Because no one's going to do it for you. But at least that's the start.
Yeah, because just like you said, it really is how we spend our time is how we spend our life, right? So when we do go big picture, big scale, are you actually living the life you want to have? I think so many of us get caught up in this, like, oh, my dream life, and when I have X, Y, Z, when I accomplish this, when that in reality, you are living your life here and now. And so again, your time should reflect what matters most to you. Is it the Netflix show, right? Or is it pouring into friends and family? Is it serving your community? And I'm very pro rest. I don't want to ever confuse the idea of, like, rest is Netflix. But I really want to just encourage people to own your time, to live your time in a way that does bring joy and fulfillment, right? That if you are spending your time, especially when you're doing the same thing over and over and over and you're getting frustrated about it, right? So even, again, with little kids, maybe it's the same situation that we're running into prior to nap time every day, and I'm getting frustrated and feeling spent, and I'm spending so much of my time feeling like I'm trapped, I'm stuck, I don't have options, when really I do. I just have to figure out what it is. And it just takes a little bit of creative thinking.
I like what you said. I believe it is very important to know exactly what's important to you and even what part of the day is, you know, I don't want to feel like I'm stealing time, but I have to say the most important times that is, and because I can, because of, I don't have smaller children,
Yeah.
but the first thing in the morning, how I start my day
Yeah.
and how I end my day is so, that's like the most valuable time to me for myself. I'm adamant about how I start my mornings. I gotta have my time, and then at night I think after I this one of my tasks that I have to do. After that, I pretty much check out and be like me time,
Yeah.
and that is so important to me. Whatever I want to do, that's like a non-negotiable right there. I need that. I have to have that. So it is important to know, find those places in your day, whether that is, like it's about to. I'm hoping it's about to get even more mild, and then I'll be back outside in the park,
Yeah.
doing my walks and things. That will take a spot of my day, whether it be in the morning or after work. But you got to know what you need for yourself, because you just
Yes.
got to have that for fulfillment.
Yeah. And I think, again, obviously, I work with moms, and I know I have typically in most circles, I can be one of the youngest moms, but I have the most kids, right? And so they're always like, how do you have time for yourself? How do you go get your nails done? How do you do this? Right. And a lot of it is attributed to I have a spouse who's very hands on. He can do, there's nothing I can do that he cannot do for our kids, right? That's just the dynamics we've created. But it's also because it's a priority to me. I know even yesterday, I finished my workday and I had situations with the kids that by the time my husband was done, I was like, I need a walk. Like, is that okay with you? Is that like, I need to decompress, right?
Mm-hmm.
But how many of us go through feeling like our needs are not being met because we don't make time for them, right? Because I very well could have said, I have work I need to finish. You take the kids, let me finish this. But I knew that wasn't going to be the most beneficial. I needed to go walk and decompress and come back to what I was working on and to be able to show up for my family the way I wanted to, right? So it's that, but then it's also communicating our needs and knowing, again, what is a priority? It is a priority for me to get myself right, because if I don't, it's going to ripple and impact everyone in my family.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to have that time. I have to make that time and make it a priority to know the effect it's going to have.
So I just want to pause right here, and I just want to come back to my viewers and my listeners. Um, I have Courtney Wolf with us from Courtney Wolf Coaching. Please feel free, if you have a question or a comment for our viewers, please go in that chat and the comment section and ask a question. If there's something that you want to know, best practices, best tools, how can I get it all done? This is your time to find out why we have Courtney with us, and we're hoping that she'll come back because we have plenty of topics for you, Courtney, I promise you. But this time one is it's very near and dear to me. So let me just ask you, what does a day, I won't even say an average day because our days are not necessarily average. What does a day look like to you? Let's say a working weekday.
Okay, so my situation is probably a little different than most. I have an in-home nanny 2 days a week. So every day kind of looks a little different, right?
Okay.
So if it is an actual work day for me, then it would be I take my boys to school. Well, I'm even like skipping 3 hours in my morning. So it starts obviously with me waking up, me getting super grounded, and what is my intention for the day? What is my focus? What do I feel like I need to really have solidified for my day? Doing my Bible time. If I have time for a workout, right? What do I fit into those hours? And what I like to be really intuitive to what do I need? Do I need to fit in a workout right now? Or do I need to spend the extra 30 minutes in my Bible, right? What do I actually need to feel like I can show up the way I want to? And then from there, it is, of course, getting ready, the shower, makeup, all the things. And then I take my boys to preschool. Then our nanny would come. And that's when I have 2 days a week, like I said, where that is interviews and client calls. And that is like packed, because that is the time where I'm going to make the most of what I have to do. And then, of course, the nanny lays down the kids for nap. I get them up for a nap and we do outside time, dinner, whatever method that looks like. And then it's just bed. It's really simple. You know, it's very, I don't know, stereotypical mom with little kids. So those are my actual work days. But then I do have other days in the week where I don't have my nanny. And it's me and some formula of my kids. Like I said, every day is kind of different.
Okay.
But let's say even Wednesdays, I have my boys are in preschool and I have my twins. And so that is where we do preschool drop off. We run all the errands. We go to gymnastics. We pick up the boys. We come home for naps. I bust out as much as I can in 2 hours of work. I turn it off. And then it's back to mom mode, right? And that's just the ebb and flow of the days I don't have my nanny. It's typically a 2-hour work block during nap time. And then the rest, it's all mom life. It's all doing the errands, going to the park, having the play dates, because I refuse to build a business where I had to give those things up. I want to go to gymnastics. I want to do the play dates. I want to be the mom at the Christmas party for preschool, right? That was important to me.
Yeah.
So I made sure my business was set up in a way that those priorities are aligned. And I'm spending my time the way I want to.
That's great.
Yeah, that time
That's
freedom.
wonderful. Yeah. So I have a question. I'm going to ask you something before I go to my question.
Okay.
Do you find that the night before prep is important to you? Like I have to tell you, especially for very early mornings, I sometimes have to stop and think or tell myself, I'm like, if you prep tonight, you're going to be happy tomorrow. Like,
Yes.
But do you find that night before prep works for you?
Yes, for sure. So my biggest thing the night before is my house has to be clean. The whole house has to be clean, basically, right? Whether it's like I have a little handheld or the cordless vacuum, and so every night the vacuums ran, the dishes are put up, everything, and then that's really the bulk of my prep. Sometimes we'll get the backpacks ready, but really we have such an easy flow in the mornings of who does what between my husband and I. Again, he works from home also, so he's very hands-on, and so it's just a lot of communication of this kid needs this sign. I always pick out our twins' clothes. They're girls. And so my husband, that's the one thing. It's like, you got to go pick out the twins' clothes. I'm like, I got you. I can do that, right? Or our boys, right? We also try to delegate and bring our boys in. So like I said, our oldest is 5. My middle's almost 4. And so I like to put responsibility on them of, do you have your toothbrush? Or like, are your teeth brushed? Are you dressed? Are you ready, right? And so we kind of let that fall on them. If they don't want to do it the night before, that's fine. It has to be done the morning of, and we leave at this time. And that's just kind of the rhythm and the flow we've set that works for us. But I do know others where I always find what works for you. If you need the night before because you like the extra 30 minutes, do it the night before. And that's what's going to work and be more consistent.
That sounds great. I love it. So our question is, and I'm glad, thank you, Sandra, because this is another reason to have you come back. So Sandra's asking, how did you start your entrepreneurial journey?
Yes. Okay. So this is one of my favorite stories to tell. I got my degrees in marketing and business. I worked in corporate world let me give you like the whole version, right? So I worked in corporate America while I was in college as an intern. Once I graduated full time, I lasted 8 months. And then I was like, okay, not for me. I've got to go. This is not what I want to do with my life. Because again, I think it was the time. Trading my time for dollars in that manner, I couldn't deal with it. So we were pregnant with our first child. So I left. And then in such, I kind of just fell into virtual assistant. I saw an ad on Facebook. I said, I can do this. I have nothing better to do. I'm waiting to have a baby. Why not? And in that time, I worked for that brand almost 7 years. I worked up to COO. And then I just knew. I would say even the past year of working with that brand, I loved it. I loved what I did. I loved who I worked with. But I had a pull and a desire, and there was something there. And I just knew. And I will say, I heard from God so many times, and I just kept no, that can't be right. Why would he want me to leave my job? That seems crazy, right? I made all the excuses. I had all the reasons why. And then I just knew. There just came a day, and there was a conversation, and I knew I was like, this is it. I have to walk away from this as much as it, broke my heart to do so. And so I did. And the exact same day, I sat down and I said, I need to do something for my own. What is it going to be? And that's how I really just looked at what had I been doing? What was I passionate about? What really lights me up? And it was very clearly empowering moms to make significant income for their families and stepping into that with clarity, consistency, and confidence. And so that's how I got here.
That's amazing. And I definitely was, thank you for that question again, Sandra. That was a great question. And I definitely would like to delve deeper into that for on another time as well, because there are so many people now looking to just what what I found on your page say, you're dreaming. Do you want to know how to make that a consistent income? And it's happening for a lot of people now.
Yeah.
So how can I effectively do that? What does that look like?
Yeah.
So that was a great question.
Yeah.
That was a great question. Sandra says, thank you so much. She said, that's amazing. It absolutely is, Sandra. And you know what? It's just incredible that even during a time like we're living in right now, that you can. I'm amazed at what I see people do in regards to taking those ideas and making things happen for themselves. Just because, just like you, they want to have a certain type of lifestyle and not just give it all. I wish it, I can't go back, but I'm just thinking about how much time and the sacrifices of working in corporate when my children were small. And I worked in a city called Stamford, Connecticut, and I started out living in Hamden. And I got to tell you, the commute all by itself.
That was enough to do me in.
Oh my goodness. Like, honestly, by the time I got there, I was like,
I just want to jump in. I still work for corporate and I have my side business as well. I actually just filed my second LLC. So I have two businesses now as I separated out things. So it's possible if you have good time management and a clear vision and clarity about what you want, you can actually, if you like your full time, like the only reason it works for me because there's no commute. I work from home now. I told my supervisor, there's absolutely non-negotiable, no way that I will ever go back to the office. So that would be like my line in the sand. But I like having that, paycheck every 2 weeks, that retirement fund, that security. But I also love the time freedom of when it's my time. And I don't have kids, I have dogs. Sometimes it feels like kids. It's easier. You can put them outside in the back and not worry about them for a little bit. But I like having that time freedom piece of when it is my time, I can do what I want with it and impact and influence other people. And, Bryant, you're so right. The opportunities that are out here now are in abundance. It is phenomenal what you can do with really simply your cell phone. People make six figures with just their cell phone. And then if you have a computer and you've got other assets as well, I mean, my goodness, what you can do nowadays is just incredible. So it's really about getting your mindset correct, like Courtney was talking about, and reframing, what do I really want? How am I going to get there? And then being radically responsible for your time and disciplined in making it happen. And it's completely possible. So I just love that.
And because you said that, Michelle, I just want to put this out there, just because with my new positioning, I want people to know there are free trainings that you can take now where you receive a certificate, and there are entry level positions starting at $50,000, between 50 and 60. How do I know? I was just on a webinar yesterday, and I will be pushing these things because I want people to know if you want to switch professions, or if you're not working, these opportunities are out here for you. So I'll be talking more about that another time real soon, but I just wanted to put it out there. You can be reskilled or upskilled or upscaled, whatever you want to say.
My husband is getting Google certified. So there's like Google courses that you can take.
That's what it is. I grow with Google. I was just on the webinar yesterday. That's exactly. Hello.
Yeah, because he's a graphic designer by education and passion, and he's an illustrator, and so that artistic side, you got to provide for your family. So he's working, in corporate America, but he was like, you know, that thing that won't let you rest at night, that doesn't leave you, and it's like, okay, I gotta do this, but I don't know how. So he found this Google certification, and people get hired, and it's like you don't have to have a 4-year college degree anymore. If you get certified and you get, you know, the education for much less money, sometimes free, utilizing the resources, it's amazing how your life can really transform in a really short period of time.
So because you put it out there, I want to put it out there. So there, you can do Grow with Google on your own and pay for it. The Urban League. Now I'm in Southern Connecticut, but there's a National Urban League. You can check to see if they have it. But we're doing it now. Where you can, I believe they're giving nonprofit organizations scholarships for these certifications. Right now, there's 4 that I was made aware of. One was project management, one was IT support, one of them is UX design.
That's the one my husband's doing, UX design.
Listen,
There's money in that, y'all. I'm just saying, y'all, contact Bryant, because there is money to be made,
I'm
and
telling you.
jobs are out there.
So, and they're starting anywhere between 50 and 60,000 entry level. That's the start to grow. You're not far from 6 figures. I'm just saying, and we'll come back and talk about it more, but I just want to put that out there. If you are in New Haven County or Fairfield County in Connecticut, contact me. Find a way to contact me.
Or
Inbox me.
if you're national or international, because I'm here in Texas and my husband's getting Google certified in UX. So I'm just saying it's out there. And
I
then
know.
while you have that as you know, your security blanket for, you know, for finances or a job, whatever, then you can contact Courtney and be like, okay, how do I take radical responsibility to make my dreams and my vision come true and work it all in and get my time management in order so that I can get it all done, have time for me, still have my sanity, and be able to watch Netflix when I want to.
So there's the banner for Courtney. If you want to reach out to Courtney, that's the information. You can reach out to her and say, listen, I have some ideas.
And if you're listening, it's CourtneyWolfCoaching.com, just like it sounds.
There you go.
Courtney,
There you go.
Courtney, Wolf, WOLF, coaching, spelled like coaching.com, no spaces, if you are listening via the podcast.
Thank you for that, because you know, I just get like this. Thank you for that. But yes, if you have ideas and you're like, I just don't know how to get it started, listen, Courtney is your girl.
Yeah.
Reach out to her and ask questions, find out, because this is a time that we can thrive. I know they say recession, but we don't have to participate. There is a way. And honestly, and I'm in layman's terms, if you have a side hustle, you can formalize it and make it work for you. Because
Workshop coming on that, because there is assets you can build to bring your life into abundance. And let me just say, in a recession, everything's on sale and you can utilize that to your benefit. Just saying.
I hear you talking, Michelle. I hear you talking. We've got workshops coming, guys. We've got them coming. Well, listen, Courtney, it's been an absolute joy having you on. And please come back. I'm gonna get another date because I would like to talk more about the entrepreneurial piece.
Yeah.
Sandra's saying, I have so many ideas. I will certainly contact her, Sandra. Contact her.
Yes. Especially if you have children. If you're listening to the replay and you've got kids and want to know how to get it all done, CourtneyWolfCoaching.com. She is your woman to help you and assist you with radically responding to the same amount of time that we all get in every single day and helping you to spend it wisely. So yes, reach out.
I love it. Yes. I love it. So Courtney, do you have any final words at this time of wisdom? Yes. And just talk to us.
Yeah. No, first of all, thank y'all so much for having me on the show. And this has been so much fun. It's such a great time. And yeah, I just want to encourage everybody to really look within yourself, decide, what do you want your life to look like, right? Then let's dig through what is holding you back and how can you bring your time into alignment with the dream life you want to have. Even if you're still in your 9 to 5, even if there are things that you can't realistically take off your plate, what can you control and how can you find more fulfillment by taking responsibility over your time?
I love it. I love it. So don't sleep on your ideas. Don't
Yes.
sleep on your dreams. I know, and all of our dreams are not done while we're sleeping. But while we're waiting, let's get the information, get the
Yeah.
tools, get the principles and the practices, and put them to use and make your life. You create that life that you want.
Yeah.
It's doable. It's doable. It's doable. And then we have Michelle and we have Courtney who are living the dream. So it's doable. That's the reality of it. It can be done. So, Courtney, thank you so much for your time with
Thank
us. I can't
you.
wait for you to come back and we can chat some more while we wait.
Yes, I'm so excited. Thank you.
You're so welcome. And we wish the best to you and God bless you and your family.
Thank you. Thank you. Y'all have a good one.
Thank you, Courtney. Michelle, that was amazing, right?
Oh my gosh, that was so good. There was just some of those concepts. I mean, I wrote them down. I took notes. I know y'all loved it too. And I love the y'all. She said y'all at the end,
She
y'all.
said, y'all. I heard her. I was like, I almost said so. I was going to open up. There's Michelle's friend with the y'all.
With the y'all. No, but really, because she brought to remembrance that we all have the same amount of time. It's really what we choose
24
to do
hours.
with it. And I love her perspective about value-based living and being empowered to take control over what you can control. And having that shift in mindset is so important because you don't have to be a victim. You can be empowered over
Yeah.
your life, your day, your mind, everything. It's really what you choose to focus on and taking radical responsibility. That's like my new phrase for the day, radical responsibility, which really translates to discipline. But discipline is like a bad word to me. So radical responsibility, I love that.
And a very wise woman said, um, she said, if God intended for us to have more time, he would have gave us more time. He gave us
Exactly.
24 hours. So I believe if we sit and just really look and see how much time we waste. And just like Courtney said, there's a sacrifice in everything that you want to do. So you may have to trim off some of the Netflix time or whatever it is. We can just daydream. So yeah, we can do this, guys. We can do
Whenever
this.
you're saying yes to something, you're saying no to something else. And when you're saying no to something, you're saying yes to something else. Why not say yes to you and your dream?
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
read, I heard someone said this, and it really struck a chord with me because I have all these books I need to read, and this person said that she wakes up and the first thing she does every morning, I can't do this, but the first thing she does every morning is read for 10 minutes, and however many pages she reads in 10 minutes, it's usually around 10 to 20 pages, and that equals like to 10 to 15 books a year. And I was like, that's 10 minutes a day, but it
Yeah,
equals over time, it just compounds, sort of like money. If you invest $10 and let it keep growing and don't take it out, it compounds over time because the interest grows. If you take radical responsibility of your day and put effort into building your dream, it's going to compound, and then your life will just be abundantly, what you want it to be.
that's good. That's good. So I probably would do the other end of the spectrum. Well, probably the 10 minutes at nighttime, and not in a comfortable position.
I'm not a morning person, and I have a chronic condition that I deal with, so mornings are really challenging for me.
Okay.
I usually get going in the late morning, afternoon is really my prime productivity time, and then
Hmm.
I'm a night owl, so I will do work on my business after my corporate job. I'm really productive, probably up until about 10, 11 o'clock at night, and then then it's my time to sort of wind down. But,
Yeah.
could I play a little less time on phone games? I do the little Candy Crush and stuff. Could I probably use that time more productively? Yeah, I could.
Hmm.
I could implement the 10 minutes reading at nighttime for me. And it really, like Courtney was saying, whatever works for you, you
Yeah.
have to be, I think she used the word intuitive. You have to be intuitive to what works for you and then implement it and
Yes.
be consistent with it for a period of time to see if it actually works for you. So it's really a matter of, do you, right? But be consistent with it and take radical responsibility for your life.
Good stuff. It's good stuff. We'll definitely, we're gonna do some more of this with Courtney. She'll definitely be back.
She was awesome. I really like her too. Like I just as a person, I'm like, oh my gosh, she's so
Absolutely.
fun. So yeah,
She,
and the fact that she's got 4 kids under the age of 10, it sounded like, oh my goodness, like
under the age.
kudos, hats off. Courtney is amazing.
She,
CourtneyWolfCoaching.com.
she absolutely is. And her children are 5, 4, and the twins that are 2-year-olds.
Husa.
Blessings, blessings, blessings. But it seems like she's got her stuff together. And you know what? If you need help, I mean, God, I'm looking at people now who have people who come in to clean their homes. Just things are so different now, and it's affordable. If that's how your day, find your options, and that's what I heard her say in a lot of different ways. What works for you, and you don't have to.
Before I got married, I hired a cleaner to come in once a week to deep clean because I didn't have time to do it. So it no matter what stage of life you're in, you have options and resources to make things work for you.
Make it work, make it work, make it work. So that was Courtney Wolf, guys, at CourtneyWolfCoaching.com, and reach out to her. Just ask questions, even if you're interested. Like we said, with bringing those dreams to fruition. Find out, how can I make this work? How can I do this? Yes, we have options, Sandra. We do have options. We don't have to be miserable. So, guys, that's about it for us for today. You know what I say: be strong, be wise, keep enhancing your life while we are all waiting on something. We're not stagnant, though. We're living this life and we are thriving. So, Michelle, I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Listen, it's always a great day when I'm here on Thursdays at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the While We Wait platform. Wouldn't miss it for the world. Join us next week. It's going to be another amazing conversation. You all are so appreciated who show up. And remember, Cynthia, to reach out and give us your address so you can get a signed copy of my book, just for being faithful and such a consistent supporter of the platform.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Cynthia. And everyone that comes on and supports, thank you so much. We do really, really appreciate you. Thank you. Well, guys, I'm so glad we had this time together. Until next time, have a great rest of your day. We're leaving. So long.
Wise. I live in I stay strong. I stay wise. I live here.